Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build a house in Minecraft. Now this video isn't just a tutorial for this specific house. It can be, but that's not the intended purpose. Instead, I'm going to show you step by step how I build most of my houses in this game. So this house right here is more so just an example. However, if you have clicked on this video wanting to build this actual house in your own world, don't worry, I'll be sure to show you each part well enough so that you can in fact copy it. Just bear in mind, like I said, it's not going to be a build tutorial like some of the others on my channel, so it may require pausing the video and taking a closer look from time to time. Anyway, let's get started with step 1 of 12 on how to design and then build your own house in Minecraft. So the first unofficial step is getting some inspiration, discovering what you actually want to build, which can be really tricky. I'm not going to talk about that much in today's video because I've actually made an entire video about that already on my channel. So if you're at all interested and you're struggling to think of an idea to begin with, go check out that video and then come back to this one after. But let's say you already have an idea of what you want to build. How do you go about planning it? Well, the first step is to make an outline of the build. So you can grab any old block to do this. It doesn't have to be something that's going to permanently stay. It's just so it gives you an idea at the shape and size. So what I like to do is kind of work in squares and rectangles. So as you can see here, I'm starting off with a main rectangle that is going to be the bulk of the house. And then I'm also adding a small one off to the side that's going to be sort of a little jut off point. Of course, you can add more of these if you want. You can make it a lot more intricate, but just for the sake of the video here, we're going to keep it quite simple. So 2 rectangles that you can then get rid of that dividing line and turn it into one whole shape. A little quick tip for this one, on the longer sides, most of them at least, try to stick to odd numbers. It just makes the building process a lot easier because you've got an actual center to it, where you don't have that with even numbers. So with our foundation / outline in place, the next thing I like to work on is the corner pillars. So on some of the corners, you don't have to do them all, but I am in this case. We're going to add in some pillars using some dark oak logs. Of course, if you don't actually want specifically pillars in your build, just add in the corner blocks that you're going to have for that part and just sort of build them up to the height that you want them to be. So as you can see on the bigger rectangle, my logs actually go 1 block higher than the little jut off on the side, just so we got a bit of diversity there. But yeah, that's basically it. You just add in all of the pillars on the corners of your build to the desired height. And we do this because it makes building the roof a whole lot easier, which is actually the next step. And what I like to do with my roofs is build the outline first of all and fill it in afterwards. So in this case, I'm using spruce as my outline block and then oak to fill it in. Now we're just keeping it pretty simple here, not adding in too much detail. But as you can see, I'm going from the top block of all of my pillars and I'm kind of building a gabled roof on all of the sides that I want to. So once I got that done on all of the sides, starting from the pillars of course, I then just go round and try to connect them all pretty smoothly. I'm not going to go too in detail, otherwise this video will go on forever and ever if I do that, but you get the idea. You just want to build the roof on all of the sides and connect it all up. And once you've got that done, you then just fill in the middle with whatever block you're using. At this point, our house is actually beginning to look like a house, other than the fact we're missing all of our walls, which are kind of important. By the way, at this point, you're welcome to get rid of the outline. I'm not in this case because I actually am going to be using it in the build, but get rid of it if you want to. So for the walls, the first thing we're going to do with them is not worry about all of the details. We want to build these as simple as possible. So you just want to pick out the blocks / blocks you're going to be using for them and just go around and fill them in as basic as possible. Punch out holes you want for windows and doorways, but don't do anything else. Keep it simple. Later, we'll go around and add in all of the details. Before we get started with that, the next thing I do is add in any other large parts of the build that I want to. So for example, with this house, I'm going to build a deck out the front, that sort of size. So we've got a lovely deck out the front of the house, and I'm also going to make a couple of changes to the roof at the top here, with a bit of a window jutting out from the roof a little bit, and on the other side, I'm going to build a chimney. So that sort of size, the bigger things, save the smaller stuff for afterwards. Now it is time to detail. So the way that I like to do this is one side at a time. I'll pick one side, detail that whole wall, and then I'll move around to the next side, and then I'll move around to the next side after that, so on and so forth until I get all the way back round to where I started and we have all of our walls fully detailed to your heart's content. Now I'm not going to talk too much about how to do all of this detailing. You can get some ideas from what I'm doing here, but truth be told, I could talk about this sort of stuff forever. As I said, trying to keep this video as short as possible. So without going into too much detail, all you need to do is detail. So we're nearly done here as far as the exterior of the build is concerned. Before we head inside and start work on the interior, the last thing we have to do is work on all of the finishing touches. So pretty much you just take a look at your build and think, what else could I add to it? So for example, I've got this empty spot here on this corner. I'm just going to add in a bit of a storage stack. And I've also got all of my roof outlines, which I could very easily make look a little bit better by adding some trapdoors underneath them. I can also add some hanging lanterns down from the finials of the roof, that sort of thing. So I just go around and do all of the little finishing details and finishing touches that I want to make before I'm ready to call it a day for the exterior, and then we can move to the inside and start work there. The first thing I do with the inside here is I decide if I would like a second level. If the answer is no, just skip to the next part. If the answer is yes, well, you add in that second level. So you build a ceiling to the first floor, which is also going to function as a floor to the second floor, if that makes sense. So you just want to make it look as nice as you can. I'm using some spruce trapdoors next to spruce slabs. I think that's a really cool ceiling design if you want to go ahead and nick that. Also, make sure you add in your staircase or ladder so you're actually able to get up and access the second floor. The next step is to go around and make all of the walls look as neat as possible. There isn't really a good way of explaining how to do this. You basically just want to smooth everything out and filling any gaps that you might possibly have, and just try and make the walls look a bit more presentable and not like the jumbled mess that they potentially were before. That was definitely the case with this house. So now I've just kind of smoothed everything out, making it look a bit more orderly and actually house-like. The next step is to make the floor look nice. So very simply, just go ahead and get rid of all of the grass blocks or stone blocks, whatever else is there, and replace it with something that looks a little bit nicer. Chances are you'll just have to do this for the bottom level, because most likely your second floor is already in place because you have the ceiling. The next thing we have to do is complete our ceilings. Now this is going to differentiate a little bit depending on your house. If you don't have a second level and you haven't added in a staircase or anything like that, just look up and make whatever is above you look nice and neat. Build your ceiling basically. Use some slabs, stairs, trapdoors, just try and smooth everything out, making it look nice and neat and tidy, kind of like how we did with the walls. But if you have a second level or third level or 4, 5, 6, however many you have, go up to any of them that don't have a ceiling and just do the same thing. Try and make it look as smooth as possible. My one here is a little bit cramped because I haven't left myself much room, but as you can see, I think I've done a pretty good job at kind of neatening everything out so it wasn't the ugly mess that was here before. At this point, we should have a nice, neat and tidy house, albeit an empty one, which is what we need to solve now. So we're going to go around and furnish it all. Now, what I like to do is go around and add in the essentials. So stuff that's going to be helpful in survival. Crafting, smelting, storage, a bed, that sort of thing. Get all of the main things that are going to go on the inside in position. Afterwards, you can go around and fill in all of the empty gaps with some other bits of detail, just trying to make it feel nice and homely whilst also being helpful in a survival situation. You want a good balance of the both. So there we go, that was the 12th and final step to my 12-step plan on how to build a house in Minecraft. I really hope this video was helpful to all of you. I've been wanting to make this for quite a while now, I just haven't gotten around to it. I've spoken about the order that I do this building in my videos in the past before, but I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of make a separate video dedicated to it, trying to lay it out as simple as possible. So hopefully it was easy enough to follow. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below, but thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.